Have you ever wondered what would happen if one day all our digital devices suddenly turned off? Could our world today even exist without the internet, smartphones, and social media? And where did this whole digital revolution begin? The one that now shapes everything we do. We live in a world where every second is filled with data, images, sounds, and information. But just a few decades ago, this digital world didn't exist at all. No computers, no emails, no smartphones. The digital revolution is that incredible leap from the analog world to the world of zeros and ones. A transformation in how we think, communicate, work, and even feel. But this story started at one exact moment in time. In 1946, at the University of Pennsylvania, the first electronic computer was built. It was called ENIAC. A giant metal machine weighing over 30 tons, designed only to do simple calculations. Yet ENIAC sparked the first wave of the digital revolution. The world realized that a machine could actually be taught to think. During the 1950s and 60s, the idea of programming was born. Machines were no longer just calculators. They could follow instructions, make decisions, and store information. Around that time, transistors replaced bulky vacuum tubes. A tiny invention, but with an enormous impact. Transistors made computers smaller, faster, and cheaper. And from that moment, the direction of our world changed forever. But the story didn't end there. In the 1970s, the second wave of the revolution began with microprocessors. In 1971, Intel created the first microprocessor chip. Suddenly, a tiny silicon brain could do what once filled entire rooms. In just a few years, names like Apple, Microsoft, and IBM started changing the world. In 1977, the Apple II hit the market, and for the first time, people could own a personal computer. At that moment, computers left laboratories and entered everyday life. Then came the 1980s and 90s, and with them, the birth of the internet. At first, it was built for universities and the military. But in 1991, with the World Wide Web, the internet opened to the public. From that point on, nothing was ever the same again. In less than 10 years, over 300 million people were online. And today, more than 5 billion people around the world are connected to the internet. That means over half of humanity now lives inside one global digital network. But the digital revolution wasn't just about tools, it became a culture. Emails replaced letters. Music shifted from cassettes to MP3 files. Movies moved from VHS tapes to online streaming. And we, the audience, became creators. Remember the first time you sent an instant message? Or that strange sound when you connected to dial-up internet? Those were the first moments of a new kind of human connection. But the revolution didn't stop there. In the 2000s, the third wave arrived with smartphones. In 2007, Steve Jobs unveiled the iPhone and changed the world forever. Your phone became your camera, your map, your office, your entertainment, all in one hand. From that day on, our lives fit inside our pockets. Everything became accessible, and at the same time, everything became trackable. Every single day, billions of gigabytes of data are created. By 2025, each person is expected to generate more than 11 gigabytes of data per day. Just by watching, posting, or searching, we fill the planet with information. Meanwhile, companies use that data to predict our behavior, sometimes before we even know what we want. Still, the digital revolution has a darker side. Dependence. Every click, like, and notification triggers the same pleasure centers in our brain. Studies show that the average human attention span has dropped from 12 seconds in 2000 to just 8 seconds today. That's shorter than a goldfish. Traditional jobs disappeared. Robots took over factories. And social networks, while connecting us, also made us more emotionally distant. Yet we can't deny that the digital revolution democratized knowledge. Information is no longer held by a few. Anyone can learn, teach, create, and be heard. Knowledge escaped the libraries and entered our phones. With just a few clicks, we can learn things our ancestors would have spent a lifetime discovering. But here's the big question. Has this flood of information really made us wiser? Or just more confused? Right now, we're stepping into the next stage of the revolution: artificial intelligence. Machines that can understand, write, talk, and decide. We've gone from room-sized computers to artificial brains in our pockets. From transistors to neural chips. From telegraphs to chatting with AI. And yet, this is still just the beginning. The digital revolution isn't only about technology. It's about redefining what it means to be human. We're building a world that, in return, is starting to rebuild us. A world where the line between human and machine is thinner than ever. But maybe the real question is this: are we still the ones controlling this digital world? Or is the world of zeros and ones already controlling us? No one really knows yet. But one thing's for sure: the revolution isn't over. We're right in the middle of it. And every choice, every click, and every new line of code is writing our future. So tell me, what do you think the next step of this revolution will be?